Now, viewers, here is an update of the CJ situation. You know that President Mahama has now sent the documents to the Lord Chief Justice and given her 10 days to respond. But another account of the matter has been rendered by the lawyer Thaddeus Sory. Thaddeus Sory, we all respect, has been a very senior barrister, and I used to see him regularly back in the day. We had a joint friend, a common friend that I used to go to their chambers. He used to work with Ambrose Derry. Yes, the MPP Ambrose Derry. That's where Thaddeus is. Thaddeus, even in those days, I was much younger, but in those days, the older people were saying that he's going to be a very bright, very, very bright barrister, and he has lived up to his billing. During the 2010 World Cup, I sort of stayed with him in the same place in South Africa when we were supporting the Black Stars. So I know him well, and he's very well respected. He also represented me by the kind courtesy of Mr. Adom-Otchere in court when I had done an interview of Tema Refinery, and Dr. Akoto has sued Adom-Otchere, the then chief executive of Tema Refinery, and his lawyer was Thaddeus. I was sued as Good Evening Ghana, publishing the story of defamation. Thaddeus represented us superly well, very, very well. Now, Thaddeus has given an opinion on what is happening, and it's a very interesting opinion. I'd like to share it with you, viewers. And that's why I've given you his background. And when he gives an opinion, it ought to be taken very seriously. So let's look at what he says about the Chief Justice, potential removal of the Chief Justice. Let's see what he says. On the eve of Tuesday, March 25, 2025, social media reports indicated that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, had forwarded 3 petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice to the Council of State. This step is a constitutional requirement under Article 1466 of the 1992 Constitution, which states, etc., etc. We know that already. Let's move on. 2, he says, 2 days later at 9:20 a.m. on Thursday, March 27, 2025, the Honorable Vincent Asifua of Old Tafo in Kumasi filed an action at the Supreme Court challenging the President's referral of the petitions to the Council of State. 3, he says, Mr. Asifua argues that the President is required under Article 1461, 2, 4, 6, and 7, 23, 57, 3, and 296 of the Constitution to notify the Chief Justice about a petition for her removal and obtain her comments and responses before referring the petition to the Council of State or commencing consultations with the Council of State, unquote. 4, this is still Thaddeus Sory writing. This claim raises a number of intriguing questions. Now, this is where the meat really is. So, Mr. Sory is asking these questions. 1, how did Mr. Asifua, within just 1 day, ascertain that the Chief Justice was not consulted before the petitions were referred to the Council of State? He says, did the Chief Justice personally inform him that she was not consulted? That may be the case. Okay. 3, was there any media report confirming that the Chief Justice had been bypassed in the process? Well, by the time Thaddeus Sory was writing this document, the Chief Justice's letter to the Council of State had not gone out yet, and then later it went out. So we all know that what Asifua was alluding to is true. But Thaddeus Sory is also alluding to something, that what was going on between the Chief Justice office and the MP's situation. How did they connect to know that she had not been told? But that has already come out. CJ herself has come out. But let's move on with Thaddeus Sory. 5, he says, and Godfrey Dame as his lawyer, ? As the musician Joseph of Culture says, this is neither a jigsaw nor a puzzle. Things are falling into place. We either survive together or we perish together. So Thaddeus Sory is suspecting that this whole application to the Supreme Court was sort of a connection between Madam's office, Asifua, and perhaps Godfrey Dame, etc. Okay, let's move on. What does he say? That aside, and it has to really be aside, and I agree with Thaddeus Sory that should be aside. Yes, that's an aside. That aside, only Article 1466 is relevant in the determining whether the President was required to seek the Chief Justice's comments before consulting the Council of State. Now, this is why I like Thaddeus Sory's brain. So he's now coming to deal with the law. So the gossip is okay. We all can gossip. That's fine. How did Vincent know Godfrey Dame? Here's a gossip. Aside. Now let's deal with the law. He says that it is only Article 1466 that is relevant in determining whether the President was required to seek the Chief Justice's comments before consulting the Council of State or not. Now, I'm raising this issue because on the program on Good Evening Ghana, my producer lawyer was concerned that it's not just Article 1466, but it has to be Article 1466 and the decision in Ajay Chum, the Supreme Court case decision Adom-Otchere, which had to do with Justice Akwe's impeachment. Those two are the things that are relevant here. Thaddeus Sory takes a completely different legal position, as you can see. Very interesting, isn't it? Thaddeus says that it is only Article 1466, nothing more, nothing less. Whether the Supreme Court has ruled in something, it is not part of the 1992 Constitution. That's what he's saying. Because the rulings of the Supreme Court can change. The Supreme Court can depart from their rulings. Article 146, nobody can change it. Nobody can depart from it. If you are making a decision about impeachment of a Chief Justice, you would have to rely on Article 1466. You can't do anything about it. Whether Dateban said this or he said that, or Justice Redu said this, or Justice Adom-Otchere said this, yeah, all that is fine. But they are not provisions of the 1992 Constitution. This is where the meat is. He says, Article 14 is the only one relevant. Then 7, Article 1466, in clear and unambiguous terms, states that when a petition concerns the removal of the Chief Justice, the President must act in consultation with the Council of State. Then he comes to 8. He says, in Adom-Otchere vs. Attorney General and Acquitted, Justice Dateban, speaking for the Supreme Court, held that just like other justices of the Supreme Court, a prima facie case must be established against the Chief Justice before a committee is empaneled to investigate the petition. Now, let's see how Thaddeus Sory then deals with the Adom-Otchere matter. Very, very interesting. I told you that he's a very brilliant lawyer. Let's go on. 9. However, he says, the Adom-Otchere case did not specify how the prima facie determination should be made. What is certain, he says, however, is that the President must act in consultation with the Council of State. Full stop. The President's decision, Thaddeus Sory says, to refer the petitions to the Council of State is, therefore, in strict compliance with the Constitution. Very interesting. He says the President has done nothing wrong by sending the petition to the Council of State, because that is what Article 1466 asks him to do. And that's what he has done. That is the only certainty in Article 1466, that yes, a prima facie case ought to be made. But in transmitting the petition from his desk to the Council of State, His Excellency the President has done nothing wrong. This will be the subject matter of the thing in court. Whether in transmitting the document from his desk to the Council of State, the President of Ghana ignored one of the constitutional steps in the process. That's the question the court will have to answer. Did the President of Ghana ignore an important constitutional step in the process of this impeachment by transmitting the document from his desk to the Council of State without first of all getting comments from His Lordship the Chief Justice? Let's move on. So he says Adom-Otchere did not specify how the prima facie determination should be made. What is certain is that the President must act in consultation with the Council. That's what he did. Number 10, he says, the following questions expose the suit for what it is. It is a much ado about nothing. Thaddeus Sory here says that the suit that is before the court is a much ado about nothing. Let's see why he says that. Let's move on. He says 10I of his document. If the Constitution explicitly states that where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the President shall act in consultation with the Council of State, it is unconstitutional for the President to refer the petition to the Council of State. Hey, he says, is it? No, sorry, let's take it again. If the Constitution explicitly states that where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the President shall act in consultation with the Council of State, is it unconstitutional for the President to refer the petitions to the Council of State? Question mark. Aye. Isn't the referral the first logical step in discussing the prima facie determination and the procedure for it? Aye. Should the President unilaterally decide on the petitions without engaging the Council of State as mandated? Important questions. Next question. Does referring the petition to the Council of State amounts to a prima facie determination without giving the Chief Justice a hearing? Question mark. Does this referral prevent the Chief Justice from later providing her comments on the petitions? Question mark. 11. Thaddeus Sory goes on. In the first petition, the former President's response suggested that the Council of State had been consulted before the determination that no prima facie case had been made against the Chief Justice. That's the Akufo-Addo petition. 12. He says, yet the President's letter to Professor Kweku Azar does not indicate that the Chief Justice was asked for her comments before that determination was made. 13. The Chief Justice believes in the law. There is no need for presumptive protection. Every Ghanaian believes in the law. So I'm not sure what 13 here means, but he's suggesting that the Chief Justice is finding some protection somewhere, maybe through the court or something like that. Because it says that if she believes in the law, there's no need for a presumptive protection. 14, he says, the law requires that the president act in consultation with the Council of State. That consultation is currently ongoing. Let the process unfold. The Council of State has its own esteemed legal minds. Trust them as much as you have always asked us to trust you. Hey, that one is heavy. Thaddeus Sory is asking the Chief Justice that you have been asking us to trust you. You know that there are lawyers there, including Sophia Kufu, including Jasadinira, including Adom-Otchere. They are all lawyers. Trust them. Trust them to come to a proper legal decision. Don't worry about it. That's what Thaddeus Sory is telling the Chief Justice. It goes on. To proxy Asifwa, well, those are Thaddeus Sory's words, and they are a bit harsh, so those are not our words. To proxy Asifwa, let me offer a lesson from the Acts of the Apostles, and I like this. Acts of the Apostles. In Acts chapter 5, Peter and his fellow apostles faced intimidation aimed at silencing their mission. Yet, despite the threats, they persisted in preaching the gospel without seeking legal resource. 16, he says, when they were eventually arrested and brought before the high priest, Gamaliel, a respected Pharisee, offered wise counsel. He reminded his colleagues of Thaddeus and Judas, two men who falsely claimed divine backing but ultimately perished. Gamaliel then gives this timeless advice in Acts chapter 5, verse 38 to 39. Refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest ye be found even to fight against God. This is a scripture that we have all used for great consequence, where you are focused on something and you know that this is from God and you know that nobody can touch it. 18, he says, so be it, honorable, he's referring to Mr. Asifwa as proxy. He says, so be it, leave the petitioners alone, for if their counsel or work to be of men, their petitions will come to naught. But if be of God, and their cause is just, no court action can overthrow it. That was Thaddeus Sory's epistle as far as the ongoing legal, is it a battle? The ongoing legal situation unfolding between the Lord Chief Justice and the petitioners who have sent a petition to President Mahama for her removal. I wanted to put out Thaddeus' story so that you can see and chew on it. Send me a text message or write on our Facebook page what you think about this article. Good evening to President Mahama and good evening to Justice Tokonu. May the Lord be with the Lord Chief Justice.